permeability, even this we have studied earlier, and intrinsic permeability, transmissibility, permeability in isotropic, anisotropic layered soils, steady one-dimensional flow cases with recharge. Okay, so basically we'll be studying about what are the different parameters of groundwater flow, so that we can understand how we can how the groundwater will flow on different for different parameters. Okay. Next, in module 3, we'll be studying about well hydraulics. What do you mean by steady flow, radial flow? Okay. In both in confined and unconfined aquifers, we'll be studying about pumping test. And then we'll be studying about unsteady flow, general equations. Okay. Cooper and Jacob method, we'll be studying. Cho's method, solution of unsteady flow equations, leaky aquifers. Okay, interference of well, image well theory, and module 4 is very interesting. Here we'll be studying about different techniques to identify the groundwater table, how much depth we are getting groundwater table. We are studying the different techniques. One is seismic method, where we'll be using the vibrations. With the help of vibration, we'll be finding out where you know uh, where exactly the groundwater table is lying beneath that surface. Then electrical resistivity, we'll be using electric voltage to find out the groundwater table. Then geophysical techniques, there are many geophysical techniques, we'll be studying that. Then electrical logging and radioactive logging, induction logging, sonic and fluid logging. Then in the last module, we will be studying about two parts are there. One is how to develop the groundwater, and one more is how to recharge the groundwater. So development, we have types of wells, methods of construction, tube well design, dug wells, pumps. Which pumps are better to lift the water efficiently. Then working principles of these pumps, power requirement of the pumps, conjunctive use, necessity, and techniques and economics. Okay, I told you already that efficiently how to lift the groundwater, and how to construct the wells, tube wells, and other dug wells. Okay, these all will be studying. The module 5 will be dealing with this. Then last part is groundwater recharge. How to recharge the groundwater artificially. Okay, artificial recharge, and how to channel the groundwater runoff for the groundwater recharge. Okay, this is your syllabus. And the course outcome, after studying this course, you will be able to apply fundamentals of hydrological science and flow equation to deduce aquifer properties. Okay, then you will be able to solve and derive groundwater flow equations and numerical. You will be able to select suitable groundwater exploration technique. Okay, this is very important. Select suitable groundwater exploration technique by applying basics of geophysical science. Okay, after studying all the types of techniques to explore the groundwater, so this is you will be able to do that. Then CO4 is you will be able to analyze DEM image data for contours on a GIS platform, and suitably identify and design a groundwater infiltration gallery for rainwater harvesting within the BMSIT and DAM campus as a group activity. So if this CO4 will be done only if the pandemic rules are lifted. Okay. Then CO5, comment and criticize on issues and case studies about groundwater exploration, management and conservation. Mostly this will be given as assignment. On to what are the issues in groundwater sector. Once we get to know the issues, there is a scope for research in that field as well. Okay. PPT will explain, this slide will explain both issues and research Okay. The following are the major issues. First is over exploitation of groundwater resources. As I explained earlier, in a small area, if we dug up lots of wells or bore wells, then it will result in depletion of the groundwater, and we cannot, even if the recharge happens in the next monsoon, that recharge level will not match to its original groundwater table. Okay, so this is one of the major issues we are facing in the urban areas in India. Okay, over exploitation of the groundwater resources. Then suboptimal utilization of groundwater resources. There is no optimal utilization. In some places, there is a lot of groundwater resources, but it is not been extracted and not supplied to the places where it is required. So there should be we have to come up with techniques where we can use the groundwater effectively
Excuse me,
and
sir.
yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. There is a lot of disturbance in the background, sir.
Okay. Hello. My voice is clear now.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. And next issue is groundwater quality. Because of the contamination, the groundwater quality is degrading day by day. So even this is one issue where we can come up with some techniques where we can whatever the groundwater we are recharging or unexpectedly it is seeping through the ground and for example in the landfills we are just dumping the wastes, and once the waste starts, when the precipitation occurs, the whatever from the waste, whatever the chemicals are there, it will mix up with the water and it will percolate and it will join the groundwater, hence it will lead to the groundwater contamination. So here, this is one of the major issues, not only in landfills, even in sewer pipes, if there is a leakage or we will go into detail later about this. Okay. Then impact of climate change. Again, here everywhere it will come climate change. Because of the climate change, if there is, see, I'll give you one a very good example. Flash floods. Okay, so in during the flash floods, within a small span of time, lots of precipitation occurs. The intensity of the precipitation will be very high. Okay, but the infiltration rate of that soil is constant. Okay, even if the infiltration is intensity is high, the soil can take only that amount of water which that infiltration rate is there for that soil. Okay, so if the intensity is higher than the infiltration rate, then the water will just flow away, just flow on the ground, and it will reach the water body, and ultimately it will reach the ocean. Okay, so there will be no recharge of the groundwater effectively. Okay, so because of the climate change, we are getting this flash flood. We are receiving flash floods. Okay, so impact of climate change is one of the issues, and site-specific availability of the groundwater. So we can, I told you earlier also where exactly the groundwater, depending upon the geology of that area. So we can make a map of this, a map of like where exactly you get water table at what depth. Okay. Then this development of the springs in hilly terrain. In many hilly areas, people rely on the springs. Okay, so it nowadays, because of the because of landslides and other floods, this springs, or because of the over exploitation of the water from these springs, they are finding difficult to rely on the springs for their domestic use or other use. Okay, so how to develop the springs in hilly terrain? Whatever the springs were there, now in many springs there is no water. Okay, so how do we bring back that original spring? That development we should focus on. Okay, and groundwater management in coastal areas. In coastal areas, the groundwater might become saline because of the backflow of the ocean water to the rivers, and from rivers it will percolate and join the groundwater. So how to manage the groundwater in the coastal areas? Again, the waterlogging and salinity problems because of the contamination only. If the water is logged in the place and if some chemicals is added, then salinity, groundwater will face salinity problems. And groundwater management and energization and pricing policy in irrigation sector. How to, how to make the, whenever there is a extraction of the groundwater, how to price the agriculturist, that policy should be done. Infrastructure development and capacity building in groundwater sector. So there is no much infrastructure developed for the storage of groundwater, or how to lift the groundwater, how to develop the augment the groundwater. Okay, so that is also one area of research. So this is this issues pertaining to groundwater contamination. You can see here what exactly is contamination. Here, this is landfill. So I told you earlier, in the landfill, when the precipitation solubles present here, it will get suspended with the water, and it will seep through and percolate and join the groundwater, makes it contaminated. Okay, then here, septic tank, if there is a leakage, or if the septic tank is designed that way that water is leaking, then again this leakage, okay, with the solid, with only the liquid waste, it will join the aquifer, and again it will contaminate the groundwater. In agriculture also, pesticides or fertilizers, if we nowadays all the farmers use pesticides and fertilizers to breed it very fast, or for getting the high yield of the crops, they use fertilizers. So here, even this, after the irrigation, the whatever the whatever the water is whatever water is remaining after the irrigation, it will either go back to the surface water bodies, or it will percolate and it will join this groundwater bodies. Again, here also, if the contamination occurs. So we will be discussing about issues in detail. What are the contamination sources, and how many problems what are the problems because of this contamination is happening. Okay. Sources and causes of groundwater pollution. We see on the basis of geometry, we classify it as point sources, line sources, and diffuse sources. Point sources which originates from a single location. We can say leakage in a septic tank. Line sources is it is linear arrangement. If there is a leakage throughout the pipeline or gasoline pipeline or any other pipeline, then we call it as line sources. Diffuse sources is occupies an extensive area. We can say agricultural field or landfills. We can call it as diffuse sources. So, with regard to the occurrence, there are four different types of sources: municipal sources, industrial sources, agricultural sources, and miscellaneous sources. In municipal sources, we have sewer leakage, uh, solid waste leakage. Okay, sewer leakage because of the poor workmanship, defective sewer pipe, or by breakage by tree roots. See what happens whenever you are, whenever you are placing the sewer pipes underneath the ground, and if there are any trees present there, as the tree grows, the roots of the trees also grows. Okay, and ultimately, at some point, if the tree root comes in contact with the pipes, there is a possibility of breakage of the pipe. Okay, and it will rupture from heavy loads also. If the pipes are underneath the roads, cross pipes or any other pipeline, if because of the heavy loads, there will be a possibility of getting ruptured. Okay, and even because of earthquakes or because of loss of foundation support. So, because of all these reasons, severe leakages will happen, and it will result in introduction of high concentration of BOD and COD, nitrate, organic chemicals, bacteria, heavy metals into the groundwater. Okay. Then next is solid waste. In the municipal sources only, second point is solid waste. Solid waste basically it will come from landfills. Okay. Landfills, what happens in landfills is leachate from landfill. Leachate is, I told you, no, the suspended particles along with the water, it will percolate. That we call it as leachate. From landfill can pollute the groundwater, and it will result in introduction of iron, manganese, nitrate, and trace element into the groundwater. Second source is industrial sources. Industrial sources, we have liquid waste, tank and pipeline leakages. Liquid waste, where the source is industrial wastewater discharged into the pits, ponds, lagoons, etc. So what happens if when the industry discharges its waste water into these ponds? So it will stay in the pond, and later it will slowly the water in the pond will be polluted, and that polluted water will slowly start to percolate into the groundwater, into the ground, and ultimately join the groundwater. So, because of this introduction, it results in introduction of hazardous and toxic industrial waste into the groundwater, which is very serious issue. Okay. Then tank and pipeline leakages. Here, uh, gasoline stations, fuel oil tanks, petroleum and petroleum products from industrial pipeline and tanks. Again, the same. If there is seepage, it will join the groundwater. So it will result in immiscible liquids like oil and petroleum, radioactive liquids, etc. reaches the water table. Okay, next, mining activity in industrial sources. The third one is mining activity. Because of coal, phosphate, and uranium mines, stone sand quarries, even in the stone sand quarries, because of this, there will be contamination of the groundwater. It will result in low pH, increase in iron, aluminum, and sulfate content in soil. Then we have agricultural return flow. Agricultural return flow is nothing. First point is irrigation return flow. So whatever the irrigation return, that is after the irrigation has served its purpose, the water was served its irrigation purpose, the return flow, either it will drain to the surface channels or joins the underlying water. So if it joins the underlying water, it will increase the salinity, increases the amount of bicarbonate, sulfate chlorides, nitrates, etc. in the groundwater. Then we have animal wastes. Animal waste mostly from the slaughterhouses. Okay, uh, because of this, if they dump the slaughter waste of the slaughterhouses in the ground land, in the land, what happens is there will be it results in introduction of salts, organic loads, and bacteria, nitrate into the groundwater. Then we have fertilizers. Fertilizers results in uh, salinity of the soil. Okay. Ultimately, it will reach the groundwater table also. Then we have pesticides. Uh, Leachate of pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides used in agricultural field will also cause the contamination of the groundwater. So this will result in serious consequences in relation to the potability of water. We cannot drink this water if the pesticides or insecticides has been introduced into the groundwater. And you have some other sources, that is miscellaneous sources, urbanization, spills and surface discharges, because in some companies they will just dispose the hazardous materials into the land openly. Because of that, uh, or some spills, because of oil spills uh, or other spills, there will be introduction of the pollutants into the groundwater. Then stockpiles are which is say stockpiles are the places where you stock the for example construction materials such as steel, reinforcement steel. So if it is openly stored, then what happens whenever there is a precipitation occurs, there will be a possibility of the water mixing up with the metal from the mixing up with the steel, and the chemicals will be mixed with it, and these water will percolate into the groundwater, and hence it will contaminate the groundwater. Then septic tank, as I already told, saline water intrusion, and because of surface water sources getting polluted, because of that also groundwater will be contaminated. So these are the issues of the groundwater. And one more issue is groundwater exploitation. Okay. So these are the groundwater resources in India. So you can see the different colors. These are unconsolidated formations. This color says that here there is a lot of groundwater. In hilly areas, you can see. I have given you the state-wise formation. I hope you can see this. See, this is the area. Okay. This is the percentage of total area. This is the area and percentage of total area where groundwater is found of in different rock formation or soil formation, different geological formations. Okay. See, in Andaman and Nicobar, total area is 6,701, but unclassified area, that means they have not found any groundwater, is 6,701. That is same. That means there is no groundwater here. Okay. If you go to Karnataka, you have 0.6% of alluvium, geological formation. Similarly, you have different formations, aquifers, different percentages. So you'll be studying this in detail in the upcoming classes. Now we'll discuss about Central Groundwater Board. The vision of this board is sustainable development and management of groundwater resources of the land. What do? They actually develop and disseminate the technologies What technologies? To monitor and implement national policies for the scientific and sustainable development and management of India's groundwater resources. Okay, that means they implement the policies for the scientific and sustainable development of the groundwater management. Okay, and how to explore the groundwater, different techniques, new techniques. This also will be built by them, and assessment of the groundwater, quality assessment. Uh, okay, then conservation. How to they set guidelines to conserve, or they develop the conservation methods. Okay, and augmentation. How to develop, how to increase the groundwater recharge, and how to increase the groundwater storage capacity. So this also will be they carry out these projects, and how to protect the groundwater from pollutions, distribution based on principles of economic and how to distribute the groundwater efficiently and economically. Okay, even this they deal with this also. Okay, so from the groundwater exploration to the distribution, everything Central Groundwater Board deals with. Okay. Any questions?